The Nigeria Police Force remains the lead agency in internal security. Nigerians are anticipating coming out en masse in a few months to cast their votes for their preferred candidate. Therefore, security is an integral part of the electoral process. The apex law enforcing agency in Nigeria, in collaboration with Imo State government and matchmakers, organized a 3-day conference and retreat for senior police officers on election security management in Owerri, Imo State capital. President Muhammadu Buhari, who declared the conference open, charged police officers to remain apolitical, firm, and loyal to the nation's democratic value.
As I have often observed, elections are local, and it's only when the votes truly count that the faith of the citizens in the democratic process can be demonstrated and government legitimacy assured. This can best be guaranteed through a well-policed election and security operation that is impartial, firm, and professional. This is what, on this day and at this occasion, I charge the Nigerian Police Force to deliver to the nation during the 2023 general elections. I therefore task the Inspector General of Police to sustain his leadership standards that will guarantee a level playing field and secure public space for the citizens to freely exercise their franchise and for the outcome of elections to be a true reflection of the people's choices.
The intense political space before an election makes it vulnerable to a range of security threats against participants, voters, information and materials.
This event is particularly significant to the force and critical to the nation. The importance of this gathering to the nation lies in the fact that the outcome will be critical to peace and security of our democratic process. This is the extent that we will engage in a detailed evaluation of all issues relating to the security dynamics of the 2023 general elections. The importance of this agenda underscores our choice of the theme of the conference, which is the imperative of Nigeria Police Strategic Plan for Peaceful Elections. In this regard, Your Excellency, during the conference and the retreat, we shall critically and professionally review the pattern and trends of crimes and undertake a detailed security risk assessment with a view to identifying specific trends that could threaten the security and peaceful conduct of 2023 general elections. We intend to draw on the outcome of these initiatives to perfect our election security strategy and action plans towards stabilizing the security and political landscape in a manner that will strengthen citizens' confidence in the electoral process and produce a credible electoral outcome in the 2023 general elections. We do appreciate that the countdown to the upcoming general elections may present new sets of security threats which will undoubtedly further tax our professionalism and operational competence. Encouraged by Your Excellency's motivation and support, however, I can assure that under my watch, the Nigeria Police will not disappoint Your Excellency, neither will we fail the nation.
As we approach the general elections of 2023, permit me therefore to suggest that this strategic plan should include a recommendation that all the candidates in all the elections must undertake under oath to denounce violence. They should also commit and sign an undertaking that all disputes over election results can only be challenged peacefully through the court processes, and that the parties to the dispute must be bound by the outcome of that process. I make this submission because it is obvious to me and other objective observers that post-election violence constitutes a major threat to our democracy. Whereas an election could be adjudged peaceful and free, The refusal of some politicians to accept an outcome of that election or their defeat often throws up more severe threats to our democracy.
3 phases of election cycle: the pre-election period, which is where we are right now, all the activities that will define the second phase, which is the election day proper, and of course the third phase, which is the post-election. Democracy will be of meaningless kind if we don't have regular elections. In elections, you have people from different organizations, different background, or different value orientation. And by implication, we also know that they also may have different objectives that may be running contrary to the essence of credible election as the bedrock of any democracy anywhere in the world. Now, because of the adversarial nature of politics, because the whole essence of leadership is to serve, and that is said because of their adversarial nature, it will seem that even justice does not matter. People want to acquire it at all costs. Democracy, in its classical traditional sense, is a very fragile construct, extremely vulnerable. And that's why it has to be protected and guarded. Contestants, they want an ethical and asymmetrical approach to gaining victory. We also have a situation where even the umpire is served in some circumstances who are either morally and ethically challenged, also compromise the process. So no matter how well crafted the innovations we have, because good laws and innovations are not self-implementing, they are not executory, they need to be implemented and enforced by people. The ethics of contestants and administrators sometimes can run contrary to the whole essence of having a credible election, so that the whole essence of democracy is represented. The rule of law is a graceful ornament to an ordered society, and that is why it's often referred to as the Corinthian capital of a polished society. Without the rule of law, electoral contest will be nothing but crude deployment of force, in which case it will result in the ritual of voting without actually choosing. The 2022 Electoral Act is a very powerful legal instrument. It has repealed the severally amended 2010 Electoral Act. The trinity of these 3 arms, INEC, judiciary, and security, if we can work together, it will be all over for most of the political Egyptians you are seeing. You may see there no more in our country.
One of the things that constrains citizen participation is actually violence. And that is the reason we are here. The role of law enforcement agencies is actually to create a condition that allows for effective participation of citizens in election. Our major principle in this context is the INEC, apart from INEC itself being the representative organ organization of Nigeria. Some of its responsibilities include constituency delimitation, registration of political parties, voter registration, receiving nomination of candidates, procurement and safety of electoral material, conducting elections, and of course providing civic voter education, regulating and monitoring campaign financing, auditing of political party finances, prosecution of election offenders. Many people believe that these functions are too many and that they can actually be unbundled into 3 separate functions by different agencies. Election security in Nigeria Election is a national matter, it's a serious matter. It is also an internal matter. The role that security agencies play is dependent on development of society. The more developed a society is economically, politically, and technologically, the less the role of the police, visible role of the police in an election. We all know that the police is the lead agency, not just in election management, but in the overall internal security management.
Most of the cyber criminals that will be hired by the political elites, working and agreeing with the political class, the government, and all of us, collaboration, will be able to avert this. We believe that during the election that there's a possibility that this can happen, there could be such compromise. At the time of collection of results, there could be a compromise that can lead to the change of the results before the announcement. So the question is it possible for us to help to be able to counter this? Yes, it's possible. Do we have the capabilities in our unit? Yes, we do have the capabilities. This general election is very critical because everything about this 2023 general election is going to be centered on electronic transmission. The era of physical protection is gone. What we're going to notice this period is going to be different from the other general elections. So I believe that the best thing is for us to channel our resources, our strength on how to monitor the activities of cyber criminals online, how to monitor the activities of major political players, those that are promoting and inciting violence. That is what we should center our minds on. And that is the only way we can have a credible election.
2015, it was because of the use of technology that we have democracy. 2019, we alerted INEC about the attack, cyber attack on INEC, which changes so many things at that time. The shifting of the election, the information, we stand to say it came from the Nigerian police. IGP is not only concerned with the election, he is putting a team, a concrete team that comprises professionals, those who know how to do certain things in their various capacities, like the cyber crime, like the election monitoring, like the threat analysis, like the intelligence. He's forming a team that will carry out a fair, free, and credible election come 2023.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, and a representative of INEC Chairman, Major General Alkali Modibo retired, also gave goodwill messages.
We have been involved in all internal security operations and even conduct of elections, giving support to the police. And so we feel very strongly that this time around we should give greater support in the light of the experiences that we've had. I'd like to, on behalf of the armed forces, indeed give the IG all the encouragement that is required, letting you know that we're there to support you and other security agencies in providing security for all our citizens. And in particular, for the coming election, we'll be there, whatever role that we're assigned as enshrined in the protocols that is already established by INEC. We'll be there to give all the support in order to ensure that what Mr. President desires for Nigerians, which is to have a smooth transition from the coming elections, will be achieved.
On behalf of the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, I wish to thank the Independent and the Inspector General of Police, Alkali Baba Usman, PSC Daga, MPF, FDC, for convening this very important conference and retreat for senior police officers. The theme tagged the imperative of Nigerian police strategic plan for peaceful election is indeed apt. and therefore couldn't have been a better time than now. It's therefore gratifying to note that INEC electoral officers, EOs and staff are also found in all the 774 local government areas in the country. Election preparation, deployment, and implementation constitute the most extensive mobilization that could happen in a country, whether in peacetime or in war. Voters will also elect candidates for 1,491 constituencies, 1 presidential constituency, 28 governorship elections, 109 senatorial districts, 360 federal constituencies, 993 state assembly seats, ensuring the safety and security of voters, election personnel and materials, candidates, party agents, observers, media, and transporters are indeed enormous.
This retreat is for the senior officers, and by that it means that these are commanding officers, commissioners of police of all the 36 states and the FCT, the AIGs of all the zones. We will also talk about the general security situation as per states, as per zones, and see what kind of strategy we will adopt to mitigate security problems further, with a view to also providing an enabling environment for people to exercise their franchise. So this is a preparatory ground for the senior officers to go back and also impact whatever knowledge or strategy we must have adopted based on the communique that will come out of our 3 days retreat.
The Inspector General of Police, in his own wisdom, with the collaboration of federal government and the Imo State government, they are organizing this conference and retreat for senior police officers with the aim of educating us so that we enhance knowledge on how to go about the election duties. What we are doing here today is to take home so that it cascades down to our officers who will be in the field. And from what we have gathered here is the role of the police or security agencies generally is to create a conducive atmosphere where voters, that is citizens, protect the electoral officers and the materials for a credible and fair election come 2023.
This is one of the best that our able Inspector General Police have done for the Nigerian Police Force. We have brainstormed and learned many things. And from what we learned, we are going to send it back to the younger ones so that all of us now work on the same page with Inspector General Police.
We come here and rub minds together and make sure that the trend that we have been following, the successes we have achieved, right from Anambra, Ekiti, Edo, then Osun, it is expected that we will still have that achievement come 2023 election.
With this retreat coming at the right time, I am sure by the time we go back, it will further strengthen us and bolster us to do more to ensuring that all is well. And I can tell you that the police definitely will be on top of its game come election 2023.
The conference was a brainstorming session between senior police officers and key resource persons to develop strategies aimed at foreseeing and containing possible threats, drivers of election violence, and deployment of efficient modern technologies for election monitoring and policing. From the Imo State capital, Owerri.